And in the friendly neighborhood of Hangzhou, you find yourself stuck right in the middle between an explosive series in the making of FPX taking on LGD. My name's Jake Asteric Sosipenka, joined by Barento Raz Muhammad. But Raz, before we get into this series, let's take a step back, a flashback, as it were, to the Maple MVP, who was game number 2 MVP of Suning's series.
Yeah, so congratulations for him. I think he played exceptionally well in the last series. I think a lot of people did. We were pulling between multiple people. So there you go. There he comes out with a big win. I think a lot of it comes down to not so much his stats, but the fact that he was able to set up a lot of those team fights. So huge team fight wins for Suning pretty consistently that they're able to get a lot of good setup from.
But we got to move forward now into the LGD and FPX series. So congratulations to Suning once again on a 2-0. Now for FPX into LGD. Big story here, big matchup, and I'm talking about the bottom lane, Raz.
Yeah, the 80 carries for both these teams need to be talked about. 100% need to be talked about. Because for LGD, Kramer's a rising star. Now, a lot of LCK fans' minds, he's already a star.
Yeah.
Like, he just came into the LPL, inserted himself, and, people always had that question mark is, can he fill Y4's spot? Hell yes, he does. He just brought it. He comes into the team. Exceptional team fight performance. Same alongside LWX, but Kramer comes out with great team fights. LWX actually has fantastic laning phase that he's able to consistently rely upon. So take a look at the fact that, of course, Kramer 72% like higher kill participation.
Yep.
Exactly the same in damage percentage, and I think it goes to show the same reliance both teams have here on their ADs.
But what you're looking at is KDA's high there for LWX. FPX undefeated. He's had a better performance and just styling on teams like WE and Rogue Warriors.
So the laning phase point comes in pretty true here for LWX because he's picking himself like kill lane matchups, shove consistently. These bottom side jungle fights happen so consistently for FPX, and it just 100% goes in their favor because they're a team that's still undefeated. They haven't lost a damn game, let alone a series. And a lot of that comes down to the same mentality that they had coming into last split, where they were a squad that says, hey, you know what? We'll have great push in the bottom side of the map. We'll have great 2v2 control through mid lane, and then we'll try to, collapse through bot side, mess with the enemy jungle, look for a dive bottom lane. This split, not a lot of teams have challenged that.
But it's good to see the comparison of LGD, where they rely even more so on the bottom lane, and Kramer is the one to push them over the edge.
Yeah, I love the fact that this meta has actually empowered 80 carries with the Yuumi pick. Yuumi, Lux, a lot of that is really given focus towards the bottom side of the map, where LGD has been thriving here. So it's good to see that your strong point is in line with the meta, even if it's like a soft touch where they still need their mid laner and top laner to do well. I think a lot of that's been going well for them. Now, to talk about what their previous games have been looking like. They started off the split, getting that 2-1 victory over Victory 5, and then they lost to both RNG and Suning last victory up against OMG. So it's been more of a tit for tat. They've been losing to teams that flatly look just better right now. RNG and Suning look phenomenal at this stage.
Yep.
But then taking down OMG and Victory 5 still has a lot of questions for me of their current placement. I still think this is a much stronger team in comparison to the past, where last split they needed time to really synergize and work alongside a lot of their pieces.
Yep.
And this time around they've had that time.
Because now Yuki's a mainstay in the mid lane. We'll talk about that as we get closer into game. But there's some changes here which makes the team look, I don't know, weaker as, because RD is not in the bottom lane.
Don't even ask that question. They're weaker.
All right, I'm just checking.
The man doesn't play jungle.
He's in the jungle. Well, we don't know.
No, he doesn't.
Okay, he doesn't play jungle. RD's in the jungle.
So RD is now the jungle due to some very unfortunate circumstances. If you guys want to follow it, you have the internet available to you, so you can look it up yourself. But RD is going to be playing the jungle here for the team. Now they have Kui, I believe is his name. He is right now still hasn't registered for the team, so he's with them. They're going to be utilizing him a little bit more.
Yep.
So all of that synergizing that LGD has had at the last split, and they do look far better now as a squad. Really has just been thrown into the bin.
Yeah.
Sadly put. So now I'm gonna, they were already not expected to win the series, but I'm a little bit more concerned for LGD in the long run, because it looked great having Yuki, Kramer, RD in the bottom side of the map with Condi. But now you're not going to be able to field Condi. That really hurts your organization. He was a spring split, finals MVP in 2017 when WE was huge, went to the Worlds run.
Right.
So not going to be able to utilize him anymore. So they need to find a new jungle. RD, I really do wonder what he's going to play. I think Sejuani is the safest bet because if we're just talking about you're being thrown into the depths here, you got to feel bad for the man not being able to play his primary position. You got to find a champion that you feel the most confident on. Maybe he has something that we don't know about.
You know what I said before, sure,
Yes,
Raz.
and I'm not gonna. I'm giving you the opportunity.
No, I'm not going to say it on broadcast.
So he was saying, I'm just gonna put you out
Oh,
there.
yeah, throw me there, yeah.
So he's saying Fiddlesticks, and it is a joke. It's a joke.
It's
we
a
don't
joke.
believe it. It's not going to come through. But the fact that his support pick that he's been coming out pretty consistently with when he first started out for the team was Fiddlesticks, obviously it's not going to be the pick.
God, it sucks at joke.
But that's what makes this series a little bit more entertaining. Honestly, you got to see what RD's been cooking up here because you have to be cooking up something. If you're coming in completely standard, good luck.
Yeah.
That does mean that PYL is going to be playing as their primary
For the
support.
first time this split.
Yes, hasn't played at all this split because the team has been frankly feeling a lot more comfortable with RD in the support position, the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, that's right. The shot calling was big there from LGD and Condi's side. So now back to PYL and still the veteran of LGD. So it's not like he's coming fresh off out of nowhere. But we're taking a good look at FPX. And for Tien, still, you're going up against him in the jungle. Now that is going to be a monstrous task.
Yeah, remember, last split, the MVP rankings had Tien as third most voted as the MVP. And there's a good reason for that. Like, it wasn't just that, Doumbé was the shot caller, made you look good. A little bit of that, because remember, it's a good working relationship between you and your jungler, mid lane jungle. But when we saw the greatest games in the LPL spring split between FPX and RNG and Invictus Gaming, when Doumbé was actually nailed down underneath his turret, Tien came through bottom side of the map and gave himself, his team, great advantages and was able to actually be on the right side of the map oftentimes without Doumbé. And so, looking at this team, every player really shines individually. From Gimgoon, if you remember Perks' top lane tier list that had him up there with Gimgoon.
People going, who's Gimgoon?
Exactly. Like, a player who's been in the scene for so long but had been on really poor lineups. So he's finally able to get himself out there. Tien, Doumbé, LWX, and Crisp. For LWX and Crisp, we talked about LWX a little bit, of course, in the matchup. But remember, LWX and Crisp have been together for so damn long. Longest standing dual lane paired up. So the fact that they were able to see them consistently nailing 2v2 matchups as well as they are goes to show that that's a big cog in the map that's still rolling.
Because remember how we defined FPX in that last split. Further that 2v2, if Doumbé's enabled, shove out the lane. He moves to the bottom side. And LWX and Chris heightened by the way that Tien and Doumbé can play around the rest of the map.
Yeah, so this is just a formula that FPX have been rolling out since spring split. Some teams, a lot of the best teams here, can do it pretty well, be able to get them off that. I want to see what LGD can do, because if LGD can do that today, with the lineup that they have, at least showcase a weakness like they did in spring split. Remember, FPX have a match of the week at the end of this week, day 6, up against RNG. We'll give a lot of great information there to, Uzi's crew.
Yep.
And we're going to have to see how that works out. Remember, you're in Hangzhou. Hello to the fans. Those look like great couches, by the way. I want to put that out there just because that's something that LGD have consistently had.
So you've sat in the arena before, haven't you?
No, I haven't been in. I've been in Hangzhou.
You've been in Chengdu.
I've been in Chengdu.
Okay.
But funny point on Chengdu, just as a small aside, completely different seating arrangements now.
Yeah.
So now it looks like they're just sitting on like an even ground. But back then they were like bleachers.
Oh.
It definitely looked, in my eyes, a little better, but I haven't been back since. So
Okay.
I definitely want to get a trip over back to Chengdu. It's a fantastic city. And I've heard a lot of great things about Hangzhou as well.
Yeah.
In fact, I just told you, you want to go visiting to Hangzhou?
You told me to take a holiday.
Yes, but I said don't go to Hangzhou during the festivals, because the festivals, when that city is packed. Hangzhou is lit during those festivals. So if you want to go there and have a great time during those festivals, God bless you, do it. But remember, there's going to be a lot of people doing the same thing. You're talking about some crowded streets.
It'd be a good time to catch an LGD game coming up in the next series where we see a new jungler, where we see the new dynamic of LGD, and why that picture of Doumbé is allowed, I'm not sure, but he's got some funny pictures, by the way, and some good stream moments if you haven't caught them before.
He's an insane streamer. Like,
Yeah.
The best streamer right now, I'll say this flatly, in the world.
Yeah.
I have not seen someone as entertaining and consistently in that mode in my life. Because if you watch any people like, Cutie Pie, or you see in Sneaky Stream, Shifter. They all have focus on the game. That's what they do. But this Matt, he's 100% all the time. He's entertaining no matter what.
Yeah.
He has specific music queued up, so he has props that he has just for these moments when he's dancing and singing.
Yeah.
It's actually just nonsense. So I'll continue to actually promote his stream whenever he's online, just so I can throw it out there so people can get a whiff of it. But that's the type of person he is. He doesn't have an off switch. He's always on, which I always think he's going to burn himself out, but that just doesn't happen.
I mean, he's the most energetic person in this team. When FPX found their wins in the last split, or even throughout this split, most verbal, most exciting.
Super C Duembi stands for Super Carry Duembi.
That's it.
So you guys remember. He has those moments in games. So we're talking about the best mid laners in the LPL. Usually you're having conversations about Rookie, Knight. Remember the MVP of last split was Duembi.
Yep.
He had so many insane solo carry performances yet that he had Stack It for himself. Now, of course, that's his prize to be.
Yep.
Or just remember, the cameraman always finds him.
Also remember, that's the person who starts the cheers for FPX.
Exactly. Leader of the
which is so cute.
Duembi, yeah, 100%.
So it's exciting to see. Look, Duembi looks to still be in form. He's played a lot of AP Nautilus mid, which I'd love to delve into as we get into Champions League. But this is the world split for FPX. So first seed here after the regular season bears well for them going into what is 3 spots available for China.
The lesson that they learned from last split, I think, is incredibly, helpful. Because, sure, they got that 3rd place finish.
Yep.
They certainly thought they were going to be able to go to the finals. Sadly, got bumped out Game 5 to JD Gaming. And the lesson they learned is to be able to be as patient as possible in those key pivotal moments. You could talk to players like Duembi and Tian about those moments, and they own it. They hear those criticisms daily, and they're the type of player they'd be like, they can go back to that moment and they would play it differently. It just means that experience you need to be able to pick up and drag it and drop it towards your next call. So when they find themselves in playoffs next time, I'm confident they can make the right call in those moments.
Yeah, big opportunity with, again, how well they're playing throughout the regular season. I did actually, before we get into Champs League, I believe, we're still waiting on players
So what's
to get
the
in.
delay, Mr. Play-by-Play?
I haven't been told.
Are you sure about that?
I haven't been told. I'm listening.
All right.
I'm listening.
I like putting
You
you
don't
underneath
trust
that fire. Well, there are a lot of times where I'm just about to leave and you're like, oh, just in case, someone was looking for you. I was what? Hello? You could have told me that 20 minutes we were having a discussion.
Oh, I forget.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have good discussions sometimes.
You forget when I'm staring you right in the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
Staring into my soul. it hurts.
I do that a lot.
I was going to bring up, because we are still waiting for some mystery delay, that Duembi.
You can make it up, actually.
Oh, yeah?
You can say that, Warhorse stubbed his toe. They
Okay.
need to get some, Band-Aid for it.
Yep.
Or look at him. He has a crick in his neck.
Oh, no.
His neck feels bad. Someone do something about it. Someone give him a massage immediately.
Oh.
It seems like his self-massage worked out for him.
Dorito time. Okay. Hold the phone. Never mind. The Nautilus talk's even going to wait as
Never
well.
call it Dorito time again.
Okay, yes, sir. Let's go into Game 1 of LGD and FPX here in LGD's home arena in Hangzhou. Welcome RD to the jungle, by the way. If you haven't heard the news already, there he is. So we'll see what he picks up. This is going to be interesting going into 10.
He's played Gragas support. I've seen him do it in solo queue.
Yes.
So take that Gragas jungle out of here. Transferable champions are not allowed.
Well, yeah, apart from the fiddle. Now, for the Nico in the top lane, could also go to Duembi, remember. So FPX playing very well with flexes at the moment. Gimgoon and Duembi, similar champion pools.
And to be honest, to the meta right now, your Glacial Augment Nico mid is the go-to. It just depends on team to team. You're right about FPX being the most willing to start throwing these champions anywhere they want. Kind of reminds me of G2. That vibe very much exists for the team. When you're going up against them, Renekton is such a higher priority because it literally can go very likely through mid lane.
Yeah.
Because I actually expect a Renekton pick to go mid more than I do top lane. Gimgoon's the type of person that says, yeah, I don't need a better matchup. I don't even need you to be topside.
Okay.
Just do your job on the bottom side of the map, and I will get by. He does that so frequently.
But this one's scary because Tian on Olaf, it's punishing. And giving this powerful jungler over to FPX could be a mistake.
They have one shot here. Oh, that's the
no.
Nautilus.
You know that's going mid as well.
Oh my god, but Crisp is such a great Nautilus player. This is the fear when
True.
you're going up against FPX on blue side. they actually just have so many picks that you don't know where it's going. So at least the Trundle pick, pretty damn good into the Olaf and pretty exceptional into the Nautilus as well. There are great moments that he could be able to throw the pillars at great timings. And remember, small things that people don't tend to call out is not only the fact that it is a great, obstruction that you're able to throw out with your Q, but on top of that, yeah, just back to my point. Yeah,
Okay.
I just got caught off guard there. But on top of that, the slow that you're able to have makes it so much easier for Lux's light binding to be able to land. So that combination later on in the game is something we need to see.
Okay. Also, I want to point out the fact that like FPX banning away flexes is no big deal because at the moment, something that passes through Champ Select and has been prioritized in the past is that Aurelia, and it's still open and available.
Yeah, might even be able to see it here. I think Yuki is the best Aurelio player in the LPL.
True.
He's just been so damn consistent on the champion. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to it, especially with the Nautilus pick coming out because it has a pretty good lane into it. Conqueror's proc just start wrecking the Nautilus early on.
Wow.
So we'll have to see what ends up happening, but yeah.
Karma mid. At this point, you've already got the Lux locked in, so looks to be Yuki taking that up, but we've also seen Karma top in the LPL.
This very much reminds me of RNG's type of compositions. You have double shielding alongside the Sivir. So a lot of great wave clear, great poke alongside the Trundle pillar. So I think there's a great mid-game play that LGD has in mind.
Also, remember that for the Karma as well, build Arden in the mid, but you can also be flexible and go the nuke build, we're calling it. So we'll see which path Yuki takes. But for FPX, it's that bottom lane of LWX onto his Lucian, his second most picked.
We get to find out what the support pick could possibly be, right? Because even if it's going to be a Sylas and it goes top lane, then we finally know that that's going to be a Nautilus coming to the bottom side of the map. That's the fear. Nautilus can go anywhere. Mid lane, bottom lane. I'm not saying top lane. Gimgoon is not that suicidal. He doesn't do that.
Oh, yeah.
But that's going to be really fun to see out of FPX. We finally get the last pick from LGD.
We'll see what it is. Urgot has not been picked in the LPL this split.
But Liza's best champion, historically, has been that Urgot. So I'm going to leave that up and available and start thinking about it. But that being a Victor changes everything.
Okay, well, going into the top lane most likely.
So remember the range advantage Victor has here is the reason you'd end up picking that up. It's great into both matchups, both Sylas and, of course, the Nico. So you can keep yourself up. We're not seeing the Klepto as much as often because it's just range matchups. You don't want to be able to take that. You want more damage. So we're seeing Airy far more often. So now LGDs have pretty good lanes. And a lot of great disengage abilities. Not only the Victor that's able to throw out his W, zone potential, of course, the pillar that we've already previous mentioned. So LGD has a really smart composition if they can play to it. Pretty disciplined.
Poke is disgusting on there as well.
That's true.
Think about how much AP Poke's going to come out, and the Sivir piles on top. So a lot of damage control there for LGD, and it's exciting to see because RD, what does he play game one as his debut in jungle? He plays Trundle. All he has to do is crunch.
The complexity of Trundle isn't very much there. But it kind of comes down to how smart the player is.
True.
It's really how smart the player is and the team is around, possible team fights. Obviously, she's very uncomfortable with the cameras constantly in front of her face. This happens every split.
It does.
This is what I have to deal with right now. She has to deal with, of course, what is she? The leader of the Doumbia fan club?
I mean, yeah.
Of the FPX fan club.
If
both
I was
fan
his
clubs.
wife, I would be, yeah.
100%. But she's the official leader.
Yes.
But back to my point, I'm very much concerned whenever it comes to teams that are struggling to find their identity to be nailing compositions like these that don't have any clear points of engage. Their clearest point of engage is going to be light binding here. So it's really on them to play as disciplined as possible with the picks that they have. They have good lanes through both mid and top lane.
And you can see, though, for FPX, if you want to contrast it for a second and look at what they bring to the table, well, that engage is going to be brutal. A lot of gap close here on the side of FPX. And as we get into game number one, let's break it down even further because this is already 30 seconds into the FPX LGD series in Hangzhou. Cameraman surprised that it was not Doumbie's wife. Normally leading the chance here, but Hangzhou's picked up some drums. Bit of a copy of WE, if I dare say.
I was about to say that. So ever since Xi'an had the drums being its major point of difference, we're talking about identity, the drums of Xi'an was beautiful.
Yes.
Suddenly every other home arena started to take that away
loses
from
the
them.
magic, doesn't it?
Yeah, so Hangzhou plays stay in your role.
I want to break down runes here for a second though, Raz, because into the mid lane, the Karma taking the Klepto into the Nico matchup.
Yeah, Klepto Karma is something we've seen pretty consistently. When you have a lot of confidence in your ability to lane, as it seems like it's going to be a swap here.
Yeah, top lane Karma here. Lies going mid with the Victor.
I think they just really wanted to see the Victor into the matchup here. They really wanted Victor into the Nico just for the range there. So probably didn't want to be opened up. There's a lot of pick potential. Is something we need to worry about when Silas is in the mix.
See how Doomby handles this though.
Yeah, so like if you get picked as a Karma on the top side of the map, you have so many ways to disengage with both your tether and shield. And yeah, extra bit of movement speed too. Of course, he didn't need either. He's just slamming Gimby off that one.
Well, that's very nicely done. Give him a bit of extra 5 gold as well, so
Klepto
coming in handy.
So that's the best way to be able to play that matchup. And if there's jungle intervention, he's out of there pretty cleanly.
Yep.
But Lies is not the same situation. He wants out of that, put him in the mid lane. So nice swap here, putting Lies right where he's comfortable.
At least RD's nearby, picking up the blue buff, going from red to Raptors, now down to his next buff, while that's a rough trade for the bottom lane for LWX. Junglers sort of towards the bottom side, but Tien is set up to do the full clip.
That's the hardship here of Lucian and Nautilus. The range, you're going to be sad. At least he ducked and dodged that one, actually. That was really well played from LWX. But he's going to be feeling the pain. Again? He's going to be, yeah, I mean, at least he had to use his dash on that one.
Yep.
I'm more concerned with Crisp, who cannot do as much as LWX is doing. He has a pretty fatty model. So he's going to be getting hurt a lot. And even if he gets an engage off, the beauty of Lux is that you're able to have Aftershock as a result. But here comes the engage on Yuki.
Top. Yuki might regret coming to the top lane. The flash burn immediately, even though Gimgoon wasn't going to get it.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Yuki walks back in. That's cheeky. Tien comes in as well. Underthrown. Yuki regrets it even more. Taking up the turret, Gimgoon, just to get Tien healthy, but Yuki trying to back.
At least he got the flash off of Gimgoon to start, but they're committing to this.
Now, Doomby hasn't been pink missing just of yet. Yuki thinking about it. Tien proxying the wave. Doomby going to help push, but these are 3 members who are not leaving.
Tien says, you ain't going nowhere. Oh, you might be going somewhere.
Undertow lands, though, onto Yuki. Doesn't have flash. Here comes the Tangle Barb lands. Doomby and Tien just make magic happen again.
Doomby, the most assertive type of player on the map. He just leaves. Doesn't care about the wave being pushed into his own tower. Yeah. He's going to take that L and say, I'm making a play at the top side whether you like it or not.
And when you have TP, or rather, when you can walk back to lane, and that's the top lane because they're changing again, FPX just in such a good advantage.
I'm not a big fan of what RD is doing. I mean, they're starting to, yeah, exactly.
Well, TP coming forward, that's a flash forward. LGD going to be in a bit of trouble here. Jungle, especially Chris, wants to lock him down. It's flash for flash while the binding connects onto Doolby, who was going back to the mid now, it seems.
So that's the concern. Whenever you go in for an invade on Krugs, you're going to have it warded because the support's going to be able to move. We'll have to see if you can get any extra damage.
He's walking out of Lies. He flashes, catches the undertow once again. Conquerors get proc. Flash from Lies as RD. Challenged by Doomby now as well. FPX, the tempo. Push it to the limit again. Gimgoon's here to join the fun.
This non-stop action. That's it. There's not much to say. Doomby's on the move.
He really is. He's on the mark as well, Raz. 0-0 and 2. The Nico's active and gets Gimgoon and Tien exactly the resources they want to start the game with.
Gimgoon even rotated to the play mid part of the map, and Yuki was like, what the hell? Like, right now, LGD are not on the same wavelength nearly as much as the FPX because they're willing to forego so much in terms of just waves. For the plays that are coming through, and that nails them 2 early kills.
And when you fall down against an Olaf early who now has a kill, double longsword, so he'll be clearing out these camps instantly. You're going to fall so far behind. So for RD, now level disadvantage, and his early jungle is disrupted.
And this is the whole, welcome to the jungle that we were kind of talking about. Because he comes in, gets caught out by going to Krugs when they didn't put in the work of having the bottom lane completely shoved in so his lanes can actually help. So what ends up happening is he gets pushed off. Okay, he loses flash. All right, well, we know that your top side is pretty much cleaned out. They track him as the top side. So now Trundle is in a pretty bad situation where in another case where, if you had a jungle player, someone who actually plays that competitively, that would not have been the case. So that's just one of those situations where you get called out, and it kind of sucks.
Well, it's hard to get in the middle of these lanes and actually bring the response back for LGD because Doombee's up to the top side. He's now matching Yuki, who probably going to start hating this one. And in the mid lane, Lai's still there going up against Gimgoon, and the Observer just hates it.
Yeah, and right now, because you have to continue to change up those roles. But the reason why Karma doesn't like that is because he's going to have to take that out in the matchup. He can't proc his Klepto at all, because if he ever walks up for it, he's going to eat the Q from Doombe. So makes a lot of sense. Even rotating consistently. What's going on here?
He's coming mid. Now, Gimgoon's still here, so what is the play? All this for an Ocean Dragon? Or?
Yeah, it seems like that's the case. Rotate as a team. He's just helping them gain priority towards this play. He's still kind of in the area, so he doesn't want to fully commit to going back up top. This is why whenever you see FPX play, your eyes have to just remain focused on the minimap.
Yeah.
Because what he's doing right now, sacrificing top lane wave once again. But just to nail down a 7-minute Ocean Dragon is the strongest dragon at this stage. And it keeps those lanes, especially LWX and Chris, that even stronger.
Because Chris makes roams as well, and guess what? Gimgoon getting another kill. Who would have thought?
They're getting smurfed on.
Yeah.
What else can you say?
This is insane.
The coordination of this team is never ending.
Oh my god.
They just keep moving. Sorry.
RD, like game 1 of jungle.
Get out of here.
Let him play.
Leave.
Gimgoon's going to jump on him. There's no level 6 here, so no subjugate. He pulls the Trundle ulti before he can get it. Gimgoon with 3 kills on his Sylas, which already had a 13 KDA. Now into the bottom lane, LWX and Crisp looking to style on Kramer and PYL.
This game is another snowball brought to you by FPX.
But faster.
You said it was going to be a warm-up game. It really does feel like that. Going into your match of the week at the end of the week, right now FPX are really, I don't want to say disrespectful, because it's just there's a lot of gusto involved. I'm just saying 2 to 3 minion waves that we're willing to forego for the plays that we're making.
And he's caught back up. This is just insanity. The fact that Yuki's still only 10 CS ahead in that top lane, now moved back to the mid lane. A lot of lane swapping here from FPX that Doombee's now consistently committing to the top lane.
Yeah, well, whenever you get the opportunity to fully shove it out, look what he's doing right now. Obviously, he has just a very honest base timing. But that's what you should be looking out for. Speaking of looking out for, yeah, get away from me. Good pillow. But whenever he gets an honest shove in the top side of the map, he's going to be making movements. Take a look at it right now. He doesn't even want to leave to go back top lane. He's going straight towards mid, and you're going to be seeing the Sylas pick up the top lane wave.
Yeah, fake Olaf, Gimgoon making the move. Yuki, is he transitioning as well? Maybe just dropping a ward out. No, he's going to the top side. Lai's going to back after getting the shove, go to the mid. So really keep track of this top side. These map rotations still coming through, because going up against the 3-0 Sylas is now going to be bad for anyone.
The only way you pull people into lane so you can see what lane they're committing to is, of course, if you can fully shove it in. So you now know that the Sylas hit the top lane wave.
Yep.
But Doombe actually just hasn't shown himself, and that's something that you kind of have to see. He's been consistently alongside. Now he's picked up blue. I'm always looking at the minimap. That's just my state of mind.
Has to be this game.
But now he goes to show where he is, and Victor's already there. So I still like that for Victor. That's still a pretty positive matchup for him.
Yep.
And now you get to see the Karma pick up waves, but let's see if they can pick up a champion here.
Ooh, Chris sends the ulti down onto PYL, has to burn the flash and the heal there. Double summoner down to the support. We're just looking mid, because even though there's an engaged bot, mid, top, still the most active.
And here comes another play.
Oh.
Please leave me alone, senor.
Tien is 10 CS up on the Trundle, so RD trying to get back into this game, but Warriors, Olaf in the top side, now pressuring out Yuki.
He's a level up. He's definitely now, if we're talking about the position he's put in, where he can probably take his own blue side camps when it respawns, he's going to be 2 levels up. That's the state right now, what Tien's currently in.
There's a flash in the mid lane. I heard a pop blossom here from Doombe, who's now just auto-attacking away. Needs one more. Goes golden to live with the Chaos Storm on top of him. Light Binding's there. PYL. A good trade-off on Doombe.
Didn't see him coming, but he's willing to take that trade.
You take the little trades here for LGD. Their first kill of the game being 2k gold down. That's a small window that maybe PYL can play through.
This is getting insane here. That LGD cannot catch a break.
Yes.
0 and 2 in the mid lane is just what it is right now. 3 kills there for Gimgoon, of course, on the top side of the map. Doombe, that trade for him, he still gets the kill gold. But right now, Victor is just, he really needs something for himself.
Such an early first item from Doumbé as well, who's going to be ready for this fight. RD might be caught out. Karma ulti in hand as RD walks blindly past the brush, and Doumbé makes him pay. Crisp even finds himself a cheeky little Yuki. They'll keep doing the Rift Herald because they don't care.
He's pretty confident with Lucian sitting pretty tight at the bottom side of the map, and he's consistently making these roams happen first. Didn't have to fully rotate their dual lane up topside to be able to get that Rift Herald.
Oh, no.
Take a look at him. He's all alone.
A flash bird by Yuki just because he sees a man with an anchor.
Nah, I'd run too.
I would.
That's not natural.
Point. Yep. Crisp is walking up to the top side, asserting his own pressure. And everyone from FPX roams. Only person who stays in lane is LWX.
Gold bounty, my friends. And all of this is just even out if you have already seen the CS advantage there for both Gimgoon and Doumbé, because both of them were able to find great opportunities covering for their lanes. Now, take a look at this. He was able to... That sucks. Because that doesn't look like it hit, but obviously it doesn't matter if it looks like it hit or not. Yep. He was able to nail him down. So, as I already mentioned, you get a kill gold for yourself at Doumbé, and it moves over to Lux. Not too concerned about Lux picking up that kill.
LGD trying to do the same thing though, Raz. They found Gimgoon, they burst him down, he's burning, and they find him. A good little bit of karma for FPX.
But PYL right now is getting himself a few gold. Oh, he's got to get out of here.
Chris found the re-engage onto RD. Now Subjugation is not available here. LWX comes in for the flank with the culling. Onto the Infernal Dragon.
Recommitting.
LGD are going again. Doumbé, he's the one who wants the Tangle Bar. Flashed away by Kramer. Still has the Pop Blossom available, but Dragon resetting a little bit here underneath the Chaos Storm.
Doumbé.
Oh no, that's two-man Tangle Bar. Chris finds it. Doesn't have the ultimate. He goes Golden Olaf. Jumps on in. Ragnarok's down. Pop Blossom to zone them away while RD just takes a bit of brute force. Dragon gets in on the play. Chris flashes forward. LWX as well. It's a massacre, but both teams are dying. PYL takes the blast cone, sends out the beam. Almost does it. But in the end, FPX are the victors, I guess.
FPX are just madmen. Playing that fight on a tightrope there. They were trying whatever it took to be able to get on top of LGD, but LGD were in a great position. Like, they could always move away from Doumbé from an arm's reach so his ultimate didn't land. But the moment LWX joins, he just has the damage.
My favorite type of League of Legends. Watching FPX go up to what seems to be a bloody wanting team in LGD.
You just don't see games like these in competitive.
No, you don't.
When the best teams right now in your league, specifically FPX, are willing to take these many risks.
Yeah.
Like, on top of LWX, of course, take a look at Olaf. He may win the battle in the pit, but he's right next to Dragon. you ain't gonna win that one. Didn't even matter. He was actually trying to get the sustain. Yeah. Actually, so that was the best call that he had there.
Fair enough.
But Doumbé with the presence of mind to get that blast home. But here goes another potential skirmish.
I mean, they've just grouped up mid on the hunt being popped here by LGD. They want to fight as badly as FPX do. Even 4K gold behind, but FPX are waiting for them to come through this brush.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Crisp is looming, lying in wait for his hook. Thankfully, they got a good amount of poke on Tien, so he has to get the hell out of there. But Crisp, whenever he sees a champion, Doumbé as well, they just go for it.
Yep. Point A example there against Lies. Doumbé 4-1-5 after that fight as well, by the way. So getting closer to the Spooky Ghost, almost 2 items at 14 minutes in the game. And while Gibyu to slow down on his kill count, Tien and Doumbé have built up their own. And by the way,
the only turret plating picked up on the side of LGD was split between both Sivir and the Lux. So Lux is actually still pretty rich, but doesn't amount to too much.
In that last fight, Raz, Dragon wasn't taken, by the way. So while we're looking at a bit of gold there for LGD,
nice.
Small window, but they weren't able to pick up the Infernal Dragon, and FPX, with the lead that they have, just get yet another objective.
You know what's tough about this game? Because LGD came into this one thinking, all right, we need to take away a lot of these hook comps, right? So they actually banned both the Thresh and the Pike.
Yes.
But there's actually just as many pick potential here because you have Doumbé with obviously his E, Tangle Thorns I think it's called. Just butcher that one all consistently.
Tangle Bobs, yeah.
There we go. And then you have, of course, Gimgoon, Abscond Duck. That's always going to be a possibility if you end up getting a pick. And we already have the base. We've talked about Crisp being able to get those hooks. So if they see a champion, they can certainly take the fight. Their composition is in no way reliant on ultimates. So they're at a really good state.
When you're this far ahead in gold and you're looking towards your second items as well, it's an instant pick that you'll see. Observer's going, where do I look now? Because everything's just slowed down.
It's a good position to kind of take a step back and talk about the composition, or at least for FPX, because there's actually so many fights that you just kind of have to live in the moment. So for FPX, I like the fact that they're refocusing on the bottom side of the map.
Yep.
Because that's what we were talking about at the very beginning. The very beginning, this game started out, we wanted to see FPX kind of focus on nailing down the bottom lane turret and starting to move their pieces in LWX and Crisp alongside the map. So if they can get that going, then they can go mid. It just kind of depends, once again, what their picks actually turn into, how low that mid lane turret is.
Remember the LWX plays a good Lucian, but am I going to have time? Nope. Another death there for the Karma after what was FPX just bringing the tempo back.
I guess they get this tower for free. That's some free gold you get.
Yep.
Karma had no way out. She was conditioned to be going to the left side of that mid lane, and that's where they were at the Raptor pit.
It's just been
No
so rough.
way.
Doomy comes in for the flank. That's not really 10.
Help!
PYL, he has the kills right now, so if he dies, that's a lot of support just taken down the drain.
That kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy VII. That's not really any spoiler alerts, but kind of like when you see that fake Sephiroth.
Ah, yes.
Just like a phantom Sephiroth there. It's like, is he really there? No, it's just a fake for now.
FPX playing towards that at the moment. You can see off the vision side, Doomy flashes over. It works, Raz! It works! That's all that matters.
Such a beautiful man. Like,
it's starting to overflow. It's been super rough for the solo laners of LGD in this game. Now it's overflowing to the bottom lane. Like Kramer and PYL start to feel the brunt.
and at this point, I'm not even going to talk about the Dragons, the Barons. This game is just so easy for FPX to work off their own vision. Look at the red side jungle. They're going to lose it very soon because they're basing. But the top side, the northern quadrant, those two control wars that they've been working around it for the past like 8 minutes now. Like that, they've been consistently moving in that side of the map. That's the reason why they got that kill on Karma underneath tower. God. So LGD, they need to find a foothold there. Baron's going to be coming up in 2 minutes, so that vision control is only going to get more important.
That's right. I can't believe Baron's coming up in 2 minutes. Feel like it should have been up ages ago.
Yeah, whenever a game breaks open that quickly, you have no idea. You can't track time anymore.
I was scoffing at two things. As we came back, it was the Magi Soulstealer and Alan Doomby on Nico, which I haven't seen before, I believe, in the LPL. Second part was the fact that Tien is 3,000 gold ahead of RD. So we said welcome to the jungle at the start of the game. This is truly a test for him.
Nice.
As it will have to come down to a Baron still.
Wonderful. I mean, yeah. We'll see if they can get to that point.
Wonderful the word. PYL on half health undertow.
Oh, no!
Almost dies. PYL flashes in. I thought that was a flake coming in from Doomby for a second, but it's just Yuki. PYL burnt down to an absolute crisp, but FPX now in a 4v5.
Where's the extraction site? Someone help PYL.
He's doing all the heavy lifting right now for LGD.
Doing so much.
The Lux pick.
He gets called into action. And right now, oh, nice. I've actually wanted. This is something I actually wanted to see with because I talked about the Trundle Pillar working working well with Nautilus. I was thinking more so. Oh, well, we'll talk.
Have
about
they
that
actually
later.
found Tien though? He goes low, flashed on,
Oh
he's
my
dead,
God.
but very low health bar coming through here from the
He's
jungle.
not
I don't know if
dead.
he's alive. What?
Stopwatch.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. The amount of damage he got at the last tick before he stopwatched. You're the one. Everyone out there. Don't even lie, chat. You thought that man was dead.
Yep.
I didn't.
I'll apologize because I thought he was
eyes.
dead as well. So
My eyes see everything.
and now two more are dead from LGD. I don't know what to expect at this point because FPX are playing with their food.
Yeah, this is one of those moments. You know, in Season 2, Season 1, when, you know, you had the Rank 5 ladders?
Yep.
And you got to see really competitive teams start to grind it because, you know, if you get the Challenger, then you can challenge for, you know, Challenger League and everything.
Yeah.
But if you're just a ragtag
Oh
of
my
individuals,
God!
I don't care. I don't care. And I'm just going to finish my story.
Sorry.
Ragtag of individuals going up against that team, this is exactly that kind of game.
Yeah, that's very fair.
So
This to me is just like Challenger versus.
just look at it. Just look. What was his HP? We won't get to see it, but non-existent is my answer. Single digit and Triumph, baby, will get you back on top. We'll top you right up.
See, that got me. I thought he was dead.
It's because you have imperfect eyesight.
Yes.
My eyesight with these glasses, beautiful.
You're invincible.
Yes.
As much like Tien because he can't be stopped. I'm pretty surprised so far, though, that it's this one-sided. Like, coming into this series, RD or not, I was still hyped for the ability of Kramer. We hyped up the 80 carry matchup, but it's been anything but about the 80 carries this game.
Yeah, I mean, look, we said one thing about LGD, was that synergy was looking fantastic for the team coming into the split. You know what happened?
FBX happened.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about the fact that they don't have their jungler, my friend.
I know.
They don't have their jungler.
What?
What kind of conversation are we having here when you've lost the man?
I believed in RD, Raz.
You shouldn't.
I've had more surprises here in the LPL, to be fair, so this, I guess, is one of them because it's not one of them. So Baron goes over to FBX while we're having that little mint conversation. It's 13k gold lead, and now I'm just waiting for Doomby or Gimgoon to start off the next fight.
At this point, if we're talking about whether they should be on the map, they're doing the exact right thing. LWX mid, Doomby top side, a 1-3-1. Try and bounce between top lane tower to mid, and then Silas can rotate to mid lane as well. We're at a position right now where there's not much LGD can do to even start a fight. When you are behind on a team without any real ways to start a fight, no pick potential outside of the light binding, you are, yeah, SOL.
Just do that, yeah. First kill comes down. That's Lies dead. FBX now in a 4v5 with Baron, and at this point in the game, death timers are quite long.
Let's just take a step back and watch this beautiful, top lane tower is going.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Easy.
Thank God. What
Bot
happened
lane
before
tower.
we could zoom this far out?
We're in the helicopter right now.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta talk about the fact that we're sitting nicely. This helicopter getting a full view
Someone needs to
of
stop top.
LGD getting completely demolished.
Yeah, Kramer doesn't know where to go. They're on to PYL.
Help!
He gets locked down. Here we go. Lux Light Binding picked up, or rather the final spark by Gimgoon. Pop Blossom down. Doomby just swings past me, doesn't care. He's at half health. Locks down 1, locks down 2. In comes Chris. Into a Chris they get turned, and Kramer running for his life while Gimgoon still wants to charge up. A big Chaos Storm, but the Chaos has only just begun here for FBX.
Get me closer in on the action. Helicopter, take me right down.
FBX going to get this mid turret. Inhibitor going to come through next, or LWX and can just walk away. PYL. There we go.
You got hurt a little bit.
That was nice. What happens next? Well, I think FBX
Oh!
wait for Doomby. Sivir ultimate on the hunt,
Look,
and they're out.
His light bindings have been on point.
Yeah.
Say what you will, PYL is having a good game. He's having a wonderful game.
He's the person you're running into solo queue. Everyone wants to surrender, and you know what he says? No, we can win this.
Well, I mean, no one likes him. But no one likes the person who wants to continuously play in that game. But I'm talking about the fact that he is hard stuck in this kind of environment. So I'll give him that. It's looking really good here for FPX, and he's the only one holding them firm. TN gets light binded.
Yep.
And then you see LWX near the end of that. We won't show it. It's too graphic. He gets light binded.
Doomby lost his Magi stacks in that play, by the way. So he was sitting on 18 before. Big shame. And missing out on that movement speed by 2 stacks. So we'll see if he can get that back.
All right, time to go hunting.
There you
Get
go.
him. Hook him.
This for you.
Ooh.
Chris walking forward, just walks into the
That
gravity
random
field.
terrain on the map. Yes, I love it.
Minions faster again, so this is just going to happen quickly as Gimgoon finds a Chaos Storm. My God, that hurts. Culling there as well. That's going to poke out half of them as Victor's ult is used against them. And now FBX looking for the final touches.
Yeah, this one should be lights out for game 1 versus LGD. At least go for some more KDA. Get the
Pete almost
kill.
goes down, and Chris finds a 3-man ulti. Apparently LWX hitting in from the side as FBX don't really care. They'll run in and absolutely demolish LGD in game 1.
In Hangzhou, they come to your house. They look at your mortgage. They look at the papers. They spit on it. They erase whatever signature you had. They write their own name. This is my house now. The bank, they may have their copy of it, but who the hell cares about these banks? The fact of the matter is, FPX has taken hold of Hangzhou.
They spanked him. Absolutely spanked LGD, and poor Kramer, and especially PYL, because you can see how they'll try to force their way back into that game. But that mountain, that's a tough hill to climb.
So, this is a typical jungle difference game, but it's also one of those games where I think Yuki and Lions didn't have an answer to what was happening.
Yes.
The constant movement that Doomby and Gimgoon had early, like, they were willing to, really early on in the game, forego waves. I cannot stress this enough. To just find picks on The flashless RD, of course, when they win in invade on him. Yuki, who is farming up, lonely Karma in the mid lane.
Yeah.
They got the kill on that one as well. It just kept happening. They didn't have any responses to it. And then eventually, they just continuously shoved out waves and then swapped to proper matchups. And there really was not much of position for LG to do it. They swapped. They were always under tower to pick up the cannon wave that was shoved into them. Yeah. What can you
Wipe
say?
your hands clean with that
What can
one.
you say on that one?
I mean, after game one, I'm just surprised because, like, for FBX, they've always been innovators. They've always been inspiring, to say the least.
I just want to see a competitive FPX game.
What am I gonna do? Like,
Smash WE. Smashed Rogue Warriors.
Yep.
Smashed BLG.
they're going up against
Took
RNG this
down
weekend.
JDG in the fastest way.
What more could you want?
That's what I want.
I call this a warm-up for FBX.
Warm-up should break a sweat.
Yeah,
They're
that's
breaking
true.
bones instead of sweat.
That's true. I'm curious, in a serious note, just walk me through, like, these constant lane swaps that are coming through. Help us understand more about, like, the integrity of these lanes and how sacrificing so much for Doombe worked out so well.
So coming into the game, I said flatly that I like the lanes there for LGD if they can keep those lanes. Specifically, the Karma matchup into Sylas is going to be great. The added mobility. In fact, you saw a glimpse of it. When the first gank came through, he dodged it. Of course, he went right back, and he ended up losing a lot for it.
Yeah.
He had the base. I think that was a mistake. But the idea was sound. They just had to continuously hunt it down. I think Doombe did a great job consistently hiding his face. Like, he wasn't just throwing himself to a lane.
Yep.
He was in fog of war, waiting for somebody on that team to shove mid lane wave into him so he can show his face. And so when you can do so much in fog of war, that was that kind of game where they were really just continuously smurfing in fog, and there's not much of an option that LGD. They had options, actually. I can't lie. They had options. They were just playing poorly.
Okay, well, that's pretty simple stuff. Game one, that was FBX for you. If you're wondering how they're going in summer, there's your answer. Hopefully game two, more competitive matchup, or do we get the same answer? Moments to find out.
PWile in the jungle.
Fiddlesticks from RD. We'll be right back.